the deeds you do, they must be done upon two conditions the Shaykh mentions. Firstly, it must be done with ikhlas. It must be done sincerely and exclusively for Allah alone. Anyone who does a good deed while believing in other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or believing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has children or partners, or he does it for the sake of Allah but also for the sake of people liking him or for some other personal motive, that's not acceptable. Deeds must be done for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, exclusively hoping to please him alone. Things that are not acts of worship, for example, a person is hungry, he's eating to satisfy his hunger, but he's also eating to nourish the body Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him. That's acceptable, but things that are acts of worship must be done for Allah alone. The second condition is that it must be done in the way that the Prophet taught us. If someone does an act of worship in contradiction to what the Prophet brought, or in contradiction to what the Prophet taught, this will never be acceptable for him, no matter how much he tries. If someone prays in a way that is not how the Prophet taught us, intentionally, he's like, you know what, I'm going to invent my own way of prayer, that's not acceptable. It will never be acceptable. He invents his own type of prayer and he prays 5 times, let's say 10, 50 times a day. Still not acceptable. So, any act of worship must be done exclusively for Allah alone and must be done in the way that the Prophet ﷺ taught us.